Welcome in. It's another Before the Whistle on the SDH Network. I'm Jason Longshore. Thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon. It's the U.S. women's national team about 24 hours away from facing England in a friendly, but not just any friendly. This one will be played before 80,000 people plus at Wembley Stadium in London. And it kind of feels like the start to a new era for the U.S. women's national team. It's not the start of the Emma Hayes era. She has a gold medal to her name already. But it is kind of the nominal start to the next World Cup cycle. And what a way to kick it off on this European tour. It is the close of a chapter as well. We'll get into that as we go. But I want to start with Emma Hayes. It's a big weekend for Emma, a homecoming to London. And I wanted to start with something that's not specifically about the game. This was Emma Hayes from her pre-match press conference speaking about the recent investment in women's soccer in the United States, and also a part of her role that she has really come to enjoy about the infrastructure of women's soccer in the United States. Here's Emma Hayes from London ahead of the match.
I really enjoy putting an infrastructure together so that when I leave, it still stays solid. I always say this, that's why I credit my mum for developing my self-esteem as a child, because I think even if my self-confidence might go up and down, my self-esteem base is always pretty solid. So when it comes to being on Zoom calls and developing the 27-28 women's national team, youth national team strategy, I get to use my brain in a different way. And I get to use all that experience and knowledge that I've developed over a long period of time to put into good use for future generations of Americans. Couple that with the donation by Michelle Kang means that I can put in place the youth development program that I think we need to in order to close the gap at the youth levels and produce more players for the senior level. Plus, most importantly, build a strategy that's centered around a female lens. That's where my big passion has always been. And I hope to develop within a federation a framework so that everything from commercial to marketing to comms to performance, to technical to analysis, see everything through a female lens. Spent too much time frustrated, I think, about why we don't have the knowledge around female physiology, because we only invest 5% of that around women to let's put a commercial strategy together that the women want to partner with, and these are partners that are fitting with us as women to what type of environment we want to create in and around the female 360 and that health and physiological approach. You know this, I'm very passionate about it, and I feel like I've got the space now to really build that out. And once we move to the National Training Centre in Atlanta, hopefully partner up with universities to develop education courses, the degree level around coaching females, coaching women. My passion is, I've realised even more so being away from the day-to-day, that this is where my strengths lie, and I'm looking forward to doing that. And
3 clips coming up next about this match. We're going to start with Tierna Davidson speaking about Emma Hayes and what she has brought to the team. Then Lynn Williams about the challenge of facing England at Wembley Stadium. And Sam Coffey further on the England match and also the growth of women's soccer and women's sports worldwide. Here's Tierna Davidson, Lynn Williams, and Sam Coffey.
Yeah, I mean, I think her belief in the players and confidence in the players, as well as allowance to try different things, and perhaps a mistake comes from that, but perhaps something really great comes from that. I think she has allowed people to feel a lot of freedom and a lot of confidence in their game, which allows all of us to play well. And I think that is something that we really needed as a group, is to just have a bit of confidence and have a bit of freedom. And she's brought that. Obviously, there's structure around that, but to feel that confidence coming from the sideline is so important in big games.
Oh, they're vital. These are the moments you don't have a lot of time together. It seems far away in years, but it's really not. You only have a certain amount of camps. So to be able to be very intentional in every single moment, every single minute, every single game, to get everything right, to see what's working really well and how can we enhance those things, but also see what's not working well or what we can improve on, and to make sure we sharpen up those as well as we lead into the World Cup.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I have butterflies thinking about it, but I think when I think about it, it just feels like our next challenge. It feels like our next step, our next progression. And I think obviously this summer was such an amazing accomplishment, but now we're like turning the page into what's next and preparing for what's ahead. And I think the challenge on Saturday is a great opportunity for us to grow, to test ourselves, to play in an environment where we're not the home team, obviously. And, there is no better place to play soccer than at Wembley. And so to be able to do that, just have that experience, but more importantly, to challenge ourselves, I think is just such a perfect opportunity for us at this stage in our, in the season that we're in. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of been the trend of women's soccer for a while now, and I think the fact that it is getting more competitive is what we all want. I think as competitors, again, like, there is nothing more exciting than being able to compete at the highest level against other teams that are just equally as talented, as competitive. And, Emma talks about at the highest level the difference always being in, like, the fine details and kind of the nuances of the game, and that's where we're looking to be elite. Like, I think gold medals and World Cup trophies are that much more significant when the competition is even that much higher. So for us, as not just as women's soccer players, but just women in general, like, I think looking at the way things are trending and how competitive the game is getting, both in soccer and in other sports, is just so exciting. And it's the direction we all want it to go, and we just want to keep competing, keep being elite, keep staying at the highest level. But for us, it's not about kind of where other teams are, it's about where we are and continuing to press on forward.
Obviously, one of the big stories of these next two matches for the U.S. women's national team is the recent announcement by Alyssa Naeher that she will be retiring from the women's national team program after this tour. She will continue to play with Chicago in the NWSL, but Alyssa spoke to the media this week, and here's Alyssa answering a question about advice for young goalkeepers and her thoughts on the young goalkeeping pool with the U.S. women's national team. And also, here's Emily Fox speaking about Alyssa Naeher and her impact on the program.
I think the key for any, goalkeeper specifically, I think it's that balance of, you have to, really dig, do a lot of self-evaluation and self-reflection on what kind of goalkeeper you are, what your strengths are, understanding what your weaknesses are. And I know for myself, I've been very fortunate to train, with a lot of great goalkeepers and great goalkeeper coaches. And over the years, just being able to see and to learn different techniques, different styles, and kind of using that and putting it all together to kind of create the style that I've played with in the last few years. And I think the beauty of goalkeeping is that it's not really a one-size-fits-all kind of position. And, the more that you can understand, and that's going to be the challenge for, any young goalkeeper coming up, is really taking the time to understand what your strengths are and make them really elite and separate yourself. And also, figuring out and understanding what your weaknesses are and trying to work on those and improve them, throughout the season, and try to make those additional strengths as well. So I'm excited about the crop of goalkeepers that we have coming up. I think, what I've tried to at least show and instill in the future generations is just the power of preparation, the mindset going into training, the preparedness of what it looks like to be able to play at this level. And I think having that, we've always been able to have in this environment, as competitive as it is, it's always also been very supportive. And I think being able to find that balance within, as training partners and as teammates, obviously everybody wants to be on the field, only one can be at a time, but having that balance of pushing each other, each and every single day in training, and then also supporting whoever's on the field at any given time. Because, it's going to come back around to you, and you'll get you'll get that same support when you are on the field, and that just goes a long way.
Yeah. How much time do I have? Because I feel like Alyssa is just her career. It's been 15 years, her being on this national team. So, having her go, it's going to be, it is exciting just in the sense that she's had such a decorated career, and she deserves to kind of go in her own way and, enjoy what life has to offer outside of soccer and outside of being a player. So I think, again, we're really sad. We're going to miss her a ton. She's been huge both on and off the field for us. I think a lot of times you see on the field stuff, the Olympics, just her career in general, but also off the pitch. I feel like she's a great teammate and great leader, and we're really going to miss that.
Huge match on Saturday afternoon. Yes, it's a friendly, but it's a big friendly. US and England. 12:20 kickoff set from Wembley Stadium in London. You can watch the match on TNT. You can watch the match on Telemundo, Universo, the Peacock app, the Max app. Tons of options, English, Spanish. You will be covered to watch this game on Saturday afternoon. And we will have you covered with an After the Whistle talking about the match, what we learned in it, hopefully some clips from England as well. Big thank you to US Soccer and Veritone for providing this media to us to be able to then provide to you. Also, our friends at the Soccer for Us podcast will have plenty to say about these two matches the U.S. women's national team are playing, as well as anything the national teams do. You can get that on the SDH network. You can also get that here on YouTube. If you subscribe to the SDH network, you'll get all of our content, whether we're talking MLS, national teams, USL, WPSL, NWSL, Atlanta United, high school soccer in Georgia, college soccer in Georgia. If there's a ball being kicked anywhere, we're probably talking about it on the SDH network. And the morning show, Monday to Friday, 9:05 a.m. You can watch that live here on YouTube as well as on Twitch or on X. But YouTube, subscribe, please, and you will get all of our content here on the SDH network.